Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Good evening and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I'm Tony Rathman.
I am Cherie.
I am Lourdes Gonzalez.
And I'm Chris Allgood. No, I couldn't pull it off. I don't know how big windows are. I can't tell the estimate size of a door from a picture. I am not Chris Allgood, but I am, and I'm here, and I'm missing Chris and Audra.
I know.
We all are. Chris and Audra are taking a little vacation.
I'm sure they're enjoying their vacation.
I'm sure they are. They spent the last 3 days on the beach, so good for them. But it gives me an opportunity to be host again, and I'm happy with that. So
yeah,
and we are not facing left or right.
No, we're actually facing the camera.
Down.
And we can change cameras. So here's close up of me.
Just kidding.
And here's a close up of Cherie.
Oh, that's
all right. So too much fun. Anyway,
that is awesome. Hey, I want to say that from the opening of the show, I love the opening title sequence and all that stuff. We watch it every week. We were just at White Hill Mansion this past weekend with Sam Beltrusis and New Jersey Paranormal Project, Rick Michella. And it was so cool to watch. And it reminds me when you guys, the opening thing, when we're in the basement at Kingsland Manor and we heard something and you walked by and it kind of pointed and like that was a fun time. Every time I watch the beginning of the show, that thing brings me back to that moment.
That was a great time.
Guess what? They have Wi-Fi now.
Oh yeah, they have Wi-Fi at White Hill.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that they did. That's so cool. But anyway, I want to express some excitement for tonight's show. Tonight we have Rod and Jamie from the Phoenix. Oh my God, I just drew a blank. Phoenix Arizona Paranormal Society. Sorry, I don't know how that happened. PAPS, correct. And they have been around as long as I can remember. And from getting into the paranormal, I remember watching their investigations, watching how they work when they would show clips from investigations, and they do fantastic work. And we are going to have them on tonight. We are going to get to talk with them, and we are going to get to look at some of their investigations they've done. But before that, today is Memorial Day, and we just like to give a special tribute to everyone who has served this country. So a special gratitude to everyone who has served, both past and present. We appreciate it.
Nice tribute. Whoever put that together did a really nice job. Very classy.
Yeah.
Onyx Network did it, and yes, they did a fantastic job. All right. So now let's introduce our guests. I'm going to bring in Rod and Jamie from the Phoenix Arizona Paranormal Society. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that. Here they go.
Jamie will snack you.
I don't know why I was Oh, Jamie,
Real easy, Tony.
How you doing?
Bye, guys. Thank you.
It's not like Tony's ever been to Phoenix or Arizona before, so let's give him a break.
You know.
We put the letters on here for him too to remind him, but
Yeah. That'd be a great hat if it said EVPI.
Hey, we'll swap.
There you go.
You should.
All
That's
right.
a good idea.
So Rod is the founder of the Phoenix Arizona Paranormal Society and started the whole thing 20 years ago? Rod?
1999.
Nice.
Oh my
Nice.
God.
Wow.
And Jamie, you've been involved for the last 12, 15 years?
Yeah, I joined the group in 2012. That's when I joined the group. So I've been with them for 10 years almost. So yeah, it's been great.
So it's
Very nice.
mostly like
Yeah.
20 years.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
From
The longer
That
people
is-
stay in this, especially when you're starting out for the right reasons, the better it is. So that's cool.
Yeah, and there's never any, we never can really truly find an answer for every question that's out there. So we're always looking, just like you guys as well, always trying to find a new and better way, a new, better method. So we'll never quit trying to look, we're always going to do our best to find that answer, even though we might not always find what we're looking for, but we'll always try.
Right.
Yeah.
And for every answer you get, there's 100 more questions that come from that answer. So it's a never-ending
absolutely.
cycle.
They're all
That's
pieces.
true.
They're all pieces.
Well said, but it's important, I think, too, because through shows like ours and what's on TV, you have a continuous influx of new people into the field. And when those of you who have quality experience in the field bow out or aren't involved with that aspect of interaction, then that's on us, I think, to impart what we know. Whether we're right or wrong, at least we know, we have experience with trial and error. Big shout out to Scott Reddick, Kelly Sawyer Hammerling from the Shanley. She's the owner of the Shanley Hotel here in New York. Fantastic person. So yeah.
Very cool. All right. So what I'd like to start out with is I would like to hear one at a time from both Rod and Jamie how you got involved in the paranormal, what circumstances drew you in, and how it led you up to where you are today.
I'll let Jamie start.
Oh, sweet. Well, I've always been interested in the paranormal. There's that saying, you're either born with it or you're not. So I think I was just born with that burning question that what else is out there? I was born and raised in a small town in Nebraska. So I've always, grew up around these dark old buildings and dark cornfields. And as a child, I was really, really looking up to the sky more so than for spirits, right?
Right.
It's just the skies you can see literally forever. So I was more of a UFO buff as a child. But as I moved to Phoenix and grew into it more, I really got into the spirit world. It's always been with me, but I really got into it more. So I was always looking, always doing research on all kinds of stuff, not just ghosts or UFOs, everything paranormal, everything under that umbrella. I was always into it. I was consumed by it. So in about the late 2009, 10, 11, I really was trying to get into a group, and I didn't really reach out to a lot of different people. Then I started dating somebody that was on Rod's group. And then that's like, wow, you like ghosts? You're a ghost hunter too? So I didn't even know that before I really even started talking. So she was, yeah, we'll try to get you into the group. And I said, fantastic. So ever since then, it's just been full force. And, I've really enjoyed every second with Rod and everybody in the PAPS team. We just, and all the people that we can help. That's the main thing.
Awesome.
So many people just want answers. They just want to know if they're crazy. We always say that, and that's what we hear all the time. So we enjoy going to people's homes and just, even if it's just to debunk something, it's very rewarding for us, especially with families with kids, because we do more homes than anything else. We do tours and some buildings and stuff like that. But we do more home investigations, and there's not a whole bunch of groups out there that do a lot of homes. I don't believe, at least in Arizona. So we really like that. And that's ever since I started with PAPS, I've done doing that. I've even branched out. I have my own podcast, my own paranormal podcast now. So
nice.
We talk about a lot of different things on that as well. So,
we do home investigations as well. And I agree with you. One of the most reassuring things, regardless of what you find, regardless of what you can determine, is them feeling like, A, you're listening to them, B, you understand what they're going through, and that you believe them. I mean, sometimes that alone is a huge changing factor for them, that, you know, they try to tell their friends or family, and they're like, you're insane. That's not occurring. That's not happening. Well, we all know it does. And to be able to reassure them, okay, yes, we know what you're talking about. We've experienced that. We've seen it before. That alone starts the healing process. And then you can get into what you find, what's going on there. And that makes a big difference.
That's a good point, Tony.
And like you said before, it's like you said before, even about, you know, new groups coming into the field. Everybody thinks you can just grab a recorder and a K2 meter and just go out and start doing ghost hunting and be a professional ghost hunter, right? I mean, this is literally a full-time job outside of your full-time job. It's not just going to somebody's house and see you later. I mean, there's a lot of vetting up to that point where you go into their house. You know, you have to act as a case manager, talk to them several times before you even get out to the house. You know, and then you do your
you need a
while you're there.
K2 digital recorder and a black T-shirt. Very important.
That's right. And then turn off those lights.
And that's, and that's important. If there's any young investigators watching right now, what he's saying is very important. And you can't just go in there. There's a lot involved in being, you know, an investigator and going into residential places.
Yeah, bedside.
And he's right. Case manager, you act as a psychologist.
Yeah.
I was going to say psychiatrist because they don't do medicine. But anyway, but he's right. You can't just run in there and do whatever you do. You don't do that. You don't do that to people. So please,
I don't think
keep that in mind.
I don't think residential cases are where newbies should be cutting their teeth either.
But there are some that do. So
yeah,
I'm just,
there are.
I'm not judging or anything. It's just a good lesson to hear that.
And even more on that is just the follow through with your clients after the investigation.
Right.
Because there's been so many clients I still talk to some we did 5-6 years ago. They'll text me, call me, ask me questions. You know, this has happened. Several times we've even gone out again just to suffice them, you know, but there's always that, you know, climb them off the mountain or the ledge, you know, it's not that bad type of thing going on. I could be talking to 4 or 5 different clients at the same time any given day. So they're always getting a hold of me. So there's a lot of responsibility in it. It's not all fun and games, no matter what you see on TV.
That's so true. And when Lourdes mentioned, you know, needing a psychology degree, I can't tell you how many times we've gone to personal home investigations and found out that they're taking certain drugs or not taking prescribed medications or alcohol problems or, you know, everything in between. So, you know, being able to figure out what's truly happening can be a whole battle in itself before you even get to the investigation.
100%. That's right. You just don't know. You don't know where you're going. You're going to unknown home, unknown people. You don't know.
Right.
So
not to say when that's going on doesn't mean that the activity is not paranormal either, because that type of behavior when it's going on can cause activity. But a lot of time people cause their own negative activity, and you know what I mean? So that's a whole different, you know,
I like that you
subject.
I like that you mentioned the sense of purpose for why you do it, because that's a huge part of it too. Is it can be challenging. You say you have to see if this is an authentic case or not, what the people may or may not be going through. So you have to. It's like getting in the car and driving. If you don't have a destination, you don't know when you get there. You don't know if you wasted any time. So you keep that end goal of helping them and why you're there in mind, and then it allows you to navigate through all those other hurdles that come up that you just talked about. So that's an important lesson that was kind of embedded in what you said.
That's right. It's like what Chris Allgood said one time. He said, if you're there to do the residentials, if you're there to just get evidence, then you're there for the wrong reasons. That's why you don't.
Who said that?
Chris Allgood.
Do you know who that is, Tony? Chris Allgood. Why did that name sound?
He sounds familiar. He sounds familiar. I think he's with a really great team that does fantastic stuff, but I'm guessing. I think that's right. That's right. All right, Rod, let's hear how you got started.
Well, first of all, I've had over 30 investigators on my team since 1999. This is my third team, my best team. I call this my A team. and everybody on here. These guys going to some places that just most people probably wouldn't go in, and they wouldn't take on what they do. But I started because you probably heard a lot of this. I actually lived in a haunted house. Me and my brothers were both, I don't want to say abused, but we were used in a haunted house. There was things that had happened. I mean, it would be going into a lot of detail. I mean, being held down, being pulled down the stairs, things that, we don't even understand why. This was a new house. It wasn't like it was bad, but we did find out that it all started with a Ouija board. And it appeared on a Christmas day, and we're all fighting and trying to make it do different things like, hey, you're going to date somebody ugly. No, you're going to have somebody good. And I guess the cheating on the Ouija board caused the whole thing to go bad. Anyways, it started like that. And then coming out to Arizona, it followed my brother. He had multiple places where he had issues going on. And in fact, the house he has built right now has a cross at every beam in the house, I think. I decided to go a different path. I decided to go forward and find out what is this stuff? Why does it keep following us? Why does it keep attacking? And I found out that I could fight it and it would leave me alone. My daughter was kind of, when she was 2 years old, she couldn't sleep at night. Somebody was sitting on her bed all the time. So I never believed her. I said, well, this stuff can't be happening out here in Arizona. It was in Ohio. It's left me alone. It's found the other ones. Long story short, I'm laying in bed with her one night. My wife comes in, takes a picture, and here's this white entity laying between us on the bed. And so I realized that what she was telling me is true. And that's why I like to tell folks out there right now that if your kid's telling you there's an issue, there's probably an issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. And we prize ourselves on going into homes, find out what's going on, what's bothering these children. We like child cases are our favorite. We don't want the children there. We figure out what's going on. We cleanse the house. We leave it. The kids come back. They close their doors. They turn their lights off. And it just gives you a really good feeling. So I really pride PAPS on especially child cases right now.
That's
awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yep.
Go ahead and clap if you're watching at home. Go ahead and clap. Yeah. That's important too. And kids get dismissed a lot of times because, because their imaginations, there's all the different things that they get, but there's a lot of factors to that, as you mature, the shifting from focal point in your brain from left brain, right brain. When kids are between the ages of 5 and 7, their visual acuity of the light spectrum is broader at that point. But I think it's between like 5 and 7 years old, so they can actually see more.
And even when they say things, they can be like 2 or 3, and they'll say certain things, and you're like, how do you know that?
Yeah.
You gotta pay attention to what they say.
You just filled a diaper. How do you know Shakespeare?
Well, the other thing about children, though, is that they haven't been influenced by the world yet. So they're not being told, oh, you didn't see a ghost. That happens later, which is a shame. But they don't know. I mean, if they said they saw grandma sitting at the kitchen table, they probably did.
You gotta believe
and you have to take it with honesty and with trust. Now, are there kids that can make stuff up? Well, sure. But if they're sincere in the way they're telling you, you got to trust them. And because they have not been influenced by the world saying ghosts don't exist and this can't happen and no, that's not true. So they're not, they haven't been tainted yet. And if they're saying something's happening, chances are they're probably correct.
Yeah, they say they see grandma, and then they describe grandma, and it looks like what grandma looked like. Then they call in PAPS, PAPS, because they knew what grandma looked like.
And that's what I mean when they say certain things that you're like, how do they know that?
Yeah.
How do they know that?
We had a case where grandma was scratching the kids, and they kept telling us, well, that's just grandma. She's trying to teach the kids a lesson because he's doing something wrong. I go, that's not grandma. Grandma's not going to scratch her loved ones.
Right.
The imitators, we get a lot of that, but.
Yeah. So true.
Maybe
all right.
Yeah.
Little takara on the back of the neck. Little takara. Maybe one of those, but not scratches.
All right. Well, Pat sent in some great evidence clips that we're going to get to take a look at tonight.
Awesome.
So let's switch over and let's talk about this. One's called Girl Child Corrects Us. You want to give a little background on where this was, how you captured it and what was going on when you captured it.
I let Jamie talk about that one.
All right.
Yeah, this one was in the. Go ahead. This one was in the West Valley at a home that had a lot of activity, a lot of complaints, and we did get a lot. We even had some physical manipulation in that house with one of our cords moving, all on its own, just sitting on the bed. But this one here, the homeowners, they all claim that there was a little boy that they would see in the house or hear or something like that. So that's what we were looking for, and we're trying to call it out. This little boy that was there. We didn't know. So until we were going over the evidence.
All right. Here is that.
And then
clip.
this is you'll hear.
So we opened it up underneath, and I mean,
How old is he?
He's fine.
Five.
He just survived.
he said someone would tell him to wake up the person.
Has he ever described what that person looks like?
No.
Your son's 2 years old.
He,
Five.
Yeah,
Five.
he was 4 at the time. But he just
He just said it was a kid.
Oh, it was a kid.
Little
Oh,
boy.
a little boy.
That's what he said.
I could see that. All the toys and stuff like that.
I'm gonna leave my recorder
You stick it in there. Yeah,
right in here.
I got one. Sounds like one. And then you were saying Chase comes here with the cloth. Sounds like one. And then you were saying Chase comes.
Wow. That was incredible.
I'm sorry,
the thing that Cherie pointed out the second it showed up, but your FLIR image, that little child is in a dress.
Yeah, that's right. And it was right down at the end of a hallway where there was nothing there. There's nothing there. It shouldn't have had any kind of figure or shape to it, but it looks like a little girl in a dress.
Yeah, it does. That's amazing. You know what? I actually have that same clip labeled higher quality. So let me play that one so that if anybody missed what was said, here it is.
So we opened it up underneath, and I mean,
How old is he?
He's fine.
Five.
He just survived.
he said someone would tell him to wake up the person.
Has he ever described what that person looks like?
No.
Your son's 2 years old.
He,
Five.
Yeah,
Five.
he was 4 at the time. But he just
He just said it was a kid.
Oh, it was a kid.
Little
Oh,
boy.
a little boy.
That's what he said.
I could see that. All the toys and stuff like that.
I'm gonna leave my recorder
You stick it in there. Yeah,
right in here.
I got one. Sounds like one. And then you were saying Chase comes here with the cloth. Sounds like one. And then you were saying Chase comes.
Wow.
That is so good.
Yeah, that's really
That is incredible.
That's really good.
I wonder if she's gonna show you. She's gonna go takara. No, I'm just kidding. That is amazing.
Yeah, she
Like-
showed us all night. She kept depleting our batteries and moving things around, and she definitely
Okay.
wanted us to know that she was there. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and talk about the importance of relevance and timing in an EVP. That
Oh.
response was absolutely relevant to what you guys were talking about. Yeah, it's a little boy. Yeah, you know, she's like, I'm not a boy.
I'll show you.
I'll say, right.
Yeah.
And relevance and timing too. It came right after you said that. That was excellent.
I
Yeah,
like
And even with that FLIR pick, pareidolia is real, but the fact that we're thinking it was a boy the whole time, and that's just another way of her
Mhm.
showing us that no, I'm a
Mhm.
girl.
Well, and here's the funny part.
Yeah.
You heard me say I heard one. I wear these live audio recording devices when I'm walking through a house so I can hear where they're at, where we need to focus our attention. As I'm walking through, I already heard a male voice prior to that, which was really weird. And so I assumed that this is a little boy. And then when we got that EVP, it's just like, well, yeah, they just totally threw me off.
Yeah. And she has fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She has a little spunk in
That
her.
was really good. And pareidolia is real, but pareidolia gets thrown around in the paranormal field like headache gets thrown around WebMD. It's a symptom of everything. It's
Right.
It's used far too much. And if the biological and physiological apparatus we use to hear things are that fallible, then we would not be able to hold down jobs, relationships, or function in life if at the rate of capture that we have evidence and review it, we were wrong often enough to dismiss us all with pareidolia. We would not be able to function in life with that kind of a hearing deficiency. The whole population would be damn near deaf. So,
even in that house, you guys. I mean, there was a ton of disembodied voices that we heard, specifically in the hallway going down. Well, that was just an EVP, but just regular voices we were hearing with our ears just going down the hallway in front of us bedrooms. Literally insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's great that you caught both things.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's a really.
I would
great
like to offer up a correction, and don't ever call that just an EVP. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was an EVP.
It had tone. It had a little attitude. Like that girl. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was.
It wasn't a word. It wasn't two words.
Like
it was two complete sentences or
sentence,
three.
yes.
And that's
cool
hard to come by.
sentence,
That was fantastic.
That's a rarity for sure.
We got one later in the show, I think, that you have that's even clearer than that, which is amazing. So
Yeah.
we get
I
to
can't
know.
wait. I can't wait to hear it. I
Can't wait too. All right, so you guys submitted some pictures, and I'm not sure if these go with one of the videos or if they're separate, but the first one is a FLIR image called FLIR 6053. I am going to pull that up, and you can tell us what we're looking at, although I can clearly see what we're looking at, but
Yeah,
you can
it's
let you
too
explain it.
obvious.
Yeah, here it is.
So we didn't have to circle this one. This is actually this is a character that's standing in front of a chalkboard in a schoolroom.
That's incredible. If you look at the body temperature of that figure and you look outside the window, they match. It's probably, I don't know what the day was. I don't know what the temperature was, but judging by the color spectrum, I'm going to say that's maybe 70 degrees, maybe less.
That's showing okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's 87.4 is the red, 72.5 is the blue. So it's maybe 75, 76.
Yeah, well,
I would say
on I don't own a FLIR, so forgive me for asking, but it's got 79.9. I think that's what Cherie is referring to. That's the gauge.
Right.
So
Top left, 79.9. So
it's in the middle.
that's the center where.
I see what he's saying.
Right, that's what it's reading at the center.
It's
That's
79.9 in the middle, right where that little circle
Okay.
is.
So
I got the live number of viewers over that, so I can't see it. But now that you pointed out, I see it.
It's 79.9.
Yeah. So
It's
if
there,
that was a human shape that was being outlined as an actual person standing in front of the camera, and they were at 79.9, they would no longer be a functional part of the team.
Yeah, I know.
Rushing them to the hospital real quick.
Yeah.
And that's a fallacy that a lot of investigators don't realize is that when you finally click on these apparitions, they're not always cold signatures. Sometimes they're red hot signatures. They just block what you're looking at. So it really depends on how they're affecting the atmosphere, what they come as. So I mean, it's kind of unusual to see something a little warmer.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly you can see the head, you can see the neck, you can see the shoulders, the arms, you can see the entire body shape. I mean, for that to be anything but a human figure, I'd have a hard time trying to explain that as anything else. That's a really nice capture.
Yeah.
Except for the eyes. We can't quite explain the eyes. They look a little strange, but other than that.
Oh my God, I can see it.
They do.
Oh my gosh.
They look a little like Walking Dead-ish.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy.
Yeah, like it's looking off to the left.
Yeah, he's like a chin
Yeah.
up kind of a little bit.
It's kind of like the eyes is bulged
Bulging,
out.
right?
Yeah. A little
Actually-
Walking Dead-ish.
The more I look at it, it looks like a slee stack from Land of the Lost.
It
Or
does.
Gollum
It does.
from
You guys know that? Or Gollum, yeah.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It does look like that too.
There you go. So this evidence is now called My Precious.
That's awesome. What a great capture.
Yeah. You know what I like? I'm going to point something out right now because people who watch our show, if they watch us every week, one of the things that has already been established, and we're like halfway into the show, is a diversity of methods and equipment and captures that they have in different types. And that's awesome because that's a wide array of all the gadgets people spend money on and sometimes don't ever use or don't correlate what they get with them. So that's really cool.
That is the point of having the gadgets so you can correlate things. So
yeah, that was a really good catch.
Yeah, that was good. That was great. Yeah.
That was unbelievable. All right. So we've got another photo, and this one is titled Figure in Basement of Museum. Who wants to tell us what this one is?
You want to hit that one, Jamie?
I got to look at it first and see which one it is. Rod, take that one because I can't remember what museum that was at.
So this was from the Mesa Historical Museum when we were downstairs investigating, and there was a one of our group members was having this long conversation with a gentleman named Paul, and it was just constantly Paul was answering continuously with him on the Frank's box. He'd ask a question, Paul would answer. So at the time, I ran down and I snapped this flare shot here and saw this figure. Didn't see it at the time, obviously, when we do it, but I went back and looked, and here's this figure floating on the right side, and that's about where they were having the conversations earlier in the night.
Wow.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Do you see one figure or two?
I see one, but if you were to look harder, it almost looks like there's something standing behind him that's outside the box a little bit. And we've looked at that multiple times, but I try to stay with what stands out in the beginning. But you're right, it does look like there's multiple ones there.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like I see the figure without a doubt, but it almost.
I know what you're gonna say, Tony. I know what
creature in front of it.
Yep.
Dog. Something.
Or maybe a man like kneeling in with one foot with like one knee up and the head. Maybe I don't know, but. That's what I see, Tony.
I see that.
That's what I see. Yes, that figure, and then the other figure.
Now, see, I see somebody from about the 1900s with a long cape. Of course, everybody sees everything different, right? And I see him holding something in his hands. It's a little hotter for whatever that is in the middle. And if you look at where we think the head is, it almost looks like he has longer white hair. But what really amazes me is whatever's in the middle there that's reflecting hotter. I'm hoping that's something behind him, that he isn't carrying something, but because that would be more.
I do see that. Yeah, I see that.
That's
awesome. Great. There's something there. There's something there.
Yeah,
that's great.
I agree. That is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next photo we have, it says alien figure in closet.
You remember this one, Jamie, don't you?
Oh yeah.
All right, here it is.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and show it. So this is a house in, I believe, Sun City West in Arizona. And we're at this guy's house. And one of his claims was aliens, that he thought he would see aliens in his house along with ghosts and stuff like that. It was a hotbed, right? So one of those, you see a person on the right and a person on the left. We have our K2s out. One of them is me, and the other one is Laura. And the camera, whoever took the flare picture was right into the closet, took that picture right into that closet. And there you see it. Looks like your typical small gray, big head.
We didn't circle that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is it this?
Yeah, after even showing him, he goes, "Oh my God, that's exactly what I see." He would even have dreams about them, so they would come into his dreams. So I don't know if this guy's. I think he might be some type of an experiencer or an abductee, even though he never really did say. But you never know, right, with that stuff. So that was really
cool. That's awesome, and there is a big correlation between paranormal activity and UFO activity. The Conjuring House is one. Skinwalker Ranch is another, and they continue to find out that when paranormal activity is experienced, a lot of times there is a very strong connection to UFO extraterrestrial And for all we know, they could be one and the same. But
Sure.
that's awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah, we've come in a couple of different clients that have had, alien contact and that kind of stuff going on too. But
people,
it's weird. It's a phenomenon for sure.
It sure is. That was amazing. And to have it be so detailed. Now, granted, people can say, oh, you're looking at pareidolia. And Ron explained why that if everything was pareidolia, we'd all not be functioning correctly. But regardless, the fact that it looks so much like a gray, I mean, for that to be mathematically pareidolia, that would take quite the calculation of dots and per square inch to make that figure look as identical to what a gray looks like. That to me is amazing.
And we all investigated in that closet, and there was no blow up alien doll in there either. So,
right,
what it is, there will be bunkers out there.
They are hard to find on eBay.
Yes, they are.
The reaction of the client was just amazing when he looked at that and saw the pictures were showing him on the phone. He goes, "Oh my God, that's it. That's what I see in the house."
And you have to take that into consideration, because if he knew immediately, like in his hearts of hearts, then it's most likely true. You know what I mean? That's what he saw, and that's what it is. You have to take that into consideration too, I think. And then you got to use your instincts on that.
Yeah, and you're not leading the experiencer. The experiencer was telling you what he had seen, and you have no way to manifest and capture that. So when you caught something that he recognized, that's correlative data, and that's part of why you're there, is to see if you can document what he's telling you is happening.
Right.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
So one of our guests has a question. Here it is. They want to know, aren't you guys ever afraid of something attaching to you?
I've had it happen to me before, and I actually wrote about it in my book. It becomes an accepted risk. Like I wrote about how surfers surf, they get attacked by a shark, they go back out there. I'm like, what an idiot! Why would you do that? And the thing is, you don't want somebody to bully you out of something that you're passionate about, that you love doing. So when you do something like that, those types of scenarios, while uncommon, are an accepted risk. It's a possibility. Even though it's a low probability, it is still possible. So what we do, that is a potential thing that can happen. It does not happen all the time, but it can happen. And when it does, you have to have the right people in place to deal with it.
Agreed. What about you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've actually helped other teams that have had things follow them home. We've had at least 3 teams in Arizona that's called us and asked for help because they've had something attached to them or followed them home. But here's the thing. When you walk into a house and you see these folks, how scared they are, there's nothing, it just builds that adrenaline. It builds everything up for you. And you're like, you know what? I'm not afraid of this. We're going to take care of this and make them. And it really does feed off of them, because we've had folks that, they're grabbing, they're crying us, I mean, that's what it means. I mean, and that's our biggest thing on a PAPS. We leave a house and we have people hugging us and thanking us. And some of them become, we call external members and friends. They feel like losing friends when we leave. That's all that matters. So it is a risk, but it's a risk worth taking.
Right. Yeah, we've had that as well.
Yeah. We've had stuff follow us home. We've had stuff follow us home. Hitchhikers, we call them hitchhikers, But I think it's all more than anything, it's a state of mind. You just staying positive, and whether you say it to yourself or think good thoughts about stuff, I think that has more power than anything else. It's just staying positive. And you got to stay positive for your clients too. You can't go in and being scared and fearful. Then why are you doing this? So
exactly,
that's what I was gonna say. What works for me. I stay positive. And I'm always like, nope, not happening. I always have that, nope, not gonna happen. And it seems to work so far.
Yeah.
So far, because I haven't had an attachment.
It's funny.
Not today.
Not, so please,
here I am.
Please let it continue.
I'm the attachment.
Well, yeah, he's my attachment.
It's funny. Anthony Seminelli watching, we knew a couple people would always, anywhere they went, they brought something home. Something always came home. And he goes, it's not an attachment. Those are souvenirs. He goes, get them everywhere.
It's funny.
But yeah, what you said is honorable. That is
But it's
why
true.
you
It's
accept
a
the
lot.
risk.
It's in the state of your mind, you know, and you shouldn't go into an investigation if you feel depressed and all that other stuff. You know, you got to be in a certain state of mind.
Ask your
Yeah,
doctor.
I mean, anything negative, or I don't even like to use the D word, but anything negative will attach to weaknesses. And if you don't show them, and if you don't have them, and if you stand your ground and say, no, I have boundaries, you're not allowed to, it does help. Now, will it prevent everything? No. But it's better than having your wife go, use my husband's energy, it'll be fine. That didn't turn out so good. Let me tell you, that did not turn out good.
That's my fault. I'm very amateur.
So was I at that point.
It's funny.
Let me talk to you about amateur. My very first case in 1999, my first team, very first case was in an apartment complex, and it was demonic haunting. It's probably the only true demonic haunting we've ever had. We've had some that people have asked demonic. They've act like they're demonic and thrown up and stuff, but they really weren't.
Right.
The one that was truly a demonic case was the very first one. And I tell you what, after going through that, these other ones just seem like they're a walk. You know, I mean,
Right.
it's very simple.
Yeah, as you go through them.
I'm sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. As you go through them, though, you're right. Your level of what you've experienced continues to grow, and then you look back at some of the early ones, and you're like, okay, that was
messed up.
Yeah.
But that's the learning procedure of it, and that's what allows you to grow. But we've got some great clips yet, so let's move back. And the next one I'm going to play is, have you seen my brother? So who wants to give us a background on this one?
You got it, Jamie?
Rod.
You want me to get it?
Go for it,
Okay, I got it. Do you want me to give it before you show it?
Sure.
So that happens to be the Wickenburg Museum. We were called from one museum sponsor to another saying, would you guys investigate this museum? Because they've had a lot of kids going there having issues when they stay overnight. So we said, yeah, we'll go in there and check it out. And you're going to see the team walking up the stairs. And one of the very interesting things that you'll hear there, we've heard this before, is a spirit asking us to help them. And, we always get the help me or help and stuff like that. But this one's actually asking us if we've seen her brother.
Oh, wow.
Okay, here's that clip.
I mean, it's a big upstairs, so
Kick them down.
get down here.
Get down there.
You might be able to do both at the same time anyway, depending on where they're at. I mean, it's a big upstairs, so
Kick them down.
get down here.
Get down there.
You might be able to do both at the same time anyway, depending on where they're at.
That's
Wow.
a nice one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's nice and clean. That's good. That's
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a great EVP. It's soft. It's a whisper, but
But you
it's
can
there.
hear it.
No
It's
doubt
really
about it. You can
good.
hear it. You can hear all of it.
Yeah. Remember
How old
Wickenburg had that big flood that went through there, right? About, I don't know what year it was, but a lot of people drowned in it. 150 people.
Right.
Something. That dam broke. So a lot of the stuff in there was probably from, that time frame. So she's still looking for
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah.
That is the one place that we haven't, explore.
Yeah, the only thing in Wickenburg we've ever done was, of course, the Vulture City a couple of times.
Yeah.
And was there anything else?
Around
No,
that
Wickenburg's
area, no.
Wickenburg's kind of
Small town.
well, no,
it
right.
is a
But I
small
mean,
town.
it isn't a place we've investigated heavily, and I know they've got other places besides the museum that I think you guys were called into, because I remember watching those videos. There was another store on the same street. I think you guys did as well. You did the museum, and then there was a ice cream parlor, candy shop, something. I think. Maybe I'm incorrect.
No, we did a couple. We did a couple antique stores and this old State Farm insurance building in there as well.
Very cool. Very
Candy
cool.
store.
What?
Candy store, not
Well,
the
I
strip
thought
club.
it was
remember it being a,
Not the strip club candy.
No, it's not here in Arizona.
no, not that candy store.
Okay.
All right. So the next clip I'm going to play is something jumps off and then
Swims back. by the bed. This was prior. I think actually this was prior to Jamie coming on, and this is Laura sitting on the bed, and we call them paranormal characters. We've had a couple clips of these things, and we were finding these little tiny handprints, not handprints, but like little dot prints all over the bed, and they kept talking about this little critter they'd see up in the corners of their room, and eyes staring at them. So we were in that room, had the floor in there looking at stuff, but the camera caught this weird thing jump off the bed. And if you watch real close, it comes swimming back. Looks like a little tadpole swimming back by Laura after it jumps off the bed.
Wow. All right, let's take a look. Here it comes.
And here comes the swimming.
Here it comes.
I was going to say, is it?
Wow.
Can we play that again, please?
You bet we can. Let's play that
Yeah.
again. Hold on. Here it comes. Oh, did you see the
Yeah.
cushion
You
move?
see the fingerprint?
Frog.
Okay, that is awesome. Did you see the bed when it jumped? Did you see the bed go down?
Like it had some pushed off to it. Yeah, exactly.
Like a weight. Let me play it one more time. Just watch in the beginning, the first couple of seconds. You can see the bed actually sink down just before it jumps. Here it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That is
so cool.
Yeah,
That was
it
one
does
else we
leap.
couldn't save.
Yeah.
It does leap off, and then it does have kind of like an undulating kind of a movement to it as it went across the screen. Definitely not one of those beds you can sit on a raw egg and not break it on. That's for sure. because it bounced.
It was swimming towards the egg.
But that was
it's
swimming.
But it's so good. It's a good cat.
The mattress was pregnant 9 months later.
That was a great capture though, and completely. It's funny because we've caught stuff too that have that sort of. I don't even know how to explain it, but that iridescent, and we've seen them change shapes. We've seen them get bigger, smaller in the same couple of frames. And, the question is what exactly is that? Is that some sort of, plasm, ectoplasm? Is it some sort of energy ball? But we've seen it show up in different videos as well. And it's always an anomaly as to what exactly is occurring.
We got a video of a hand jumping off a counter and running too. I just couldn't find it in time for you guys.
Wow.
All right. Well,
next time.
He just secured his second appearance.
Yeah,
on the show.
that's what he did. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He'll be
He
back.
knows what he's doing.
Next week's guest, Rod and the Jumping Hand. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
What a unique array of evidence already so far. That's really
great.
cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome. All right, we have another question from the audience, and I'm going to bring it up. It says, Jamie and Rod, have you ever had an experience with an elemental in a home?
Good question.
Yeah, I have not. I've never had anything in my house that I would consider an elemental or anything like that. I've just had a few stray wandering ghosts come in and out, maybe a few spirits, but
I think he means an any house too. I think he means
house.
like an any house, even out in the field.
Oh, okay. And
yeah,
any house. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, nothing that I would really classify as an elemental. Not really out here. Arizona, I don't think there's a lot of elementals out here, to be honest with you. But could be wrong. It might be a few.
They don't like the heat.
I think that's more of they're like me. They can't stand it in the summer. Get me out of here.
Different here. We're in New Jersey. I think that comes up more often here.
We're in the beach with Chris and Audra.
Yeah, that's where they should be. That's where I would want to be. Yeah, the answer is no. I would say no. Rod, have you had any?
No.
Yeah, we've never come across it either. No.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ron.
I said we haven't come across it either, but I think there's people that we know. Because we're in New Jersey. We're in the Northeast. There's a lot of old, history and tribal grounds and all that. But I know there are people I think here that we know who have had.
We have done residential cases. Very few. We don't really do residential, but we have with April, and she said a couple of times it was elemental.
There were a couple instances,
but not. We don't really have a lot. No.
It's one
Besides
of
those couple.
It's one of the attributes that gets associated with Hinsdale, the Hinsdale house. Some people think there's an elemental on the property. There was somewhere else we were recently. Was it Kreischer Mansion that also they thought maybe there was an elemental on the property?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we have run into one, we weren't aware it was one, and not having that experience, not knowing how they interact, not having had that experience, I wouldn't know if we had or not, because I don't know what's different. I don't know what
You're the only
to expect.
elemental.
I am.
Just kidding.
Is the L silent?
Elemental.
Well, that's very funny.
You didn't catch that.
No, I didn't catch it.
Well, the L silent is just mental.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
It was good.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to another clip because they have some great stuff here.
Yes, they do.
This one is titled Outside Home Voices.
Okay, this is actually one where Jamie and the group were all inside. There's a lot of strange activity, and this lady, this is Sun City too, I think. The lady could see things in her TV, in her automobile, no matter where she was at. She goes, there they are, and we're like, okay, is she imagining this stuff? Is it real? Anyways, we had two cameras going, two different groups, two different crews, actually doing the I think one was in the garage, and the other was in the bedrooms. I decided to go outside and just sit down at the table, just to kind of cool down because it's pretty warm in the house, and I record this while I was sitting down at the table.
All right, let's take a listen.
Let's keep the cameras running.
Wow.
We're getting a lot of that lately. We don't understand spirits choosing people to either, I don't want to say it, irritate, attach, or whatever, but it seems that there's more and more of this stuff. We've had a couple cases where they've talked about, she's mine, I've chosen her or chosen him, and we can't explain it. This is just some new thing that's just started probably in the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Kelly Soar Hammerling from the Shanley, owner of the Shanley, do visit if you get the chance. Said it sounds like an accent. Sounds like we're actually going to be there. The Shanley is an amazing place. I highly recommend it to everybody.
It's on my bucket list, top 5 for sure.
You come out here, you tell us.
You will love it.
We will. Yeah, we will more than happily join you for that. We already believe that you're able to capture really good evidence.
Yeah. And in that place,
catch that ghost cat for sure.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal location.
It's like a little miniature Gettysburg. It's like it's amazing that place.
It's a phenomenal location. So she said it sounded like it had an accent. I would agree with that.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a British accent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She has a fantastic ear for stuff too. When we review stuff with her at the Shanley, she hears everything.
She's good.
So that's I would agree with that too. That's a good catch. You guys have a lot of EVP that has a level of tonality to it, not just the whispery stuff. Which is
I know. This is really good.
Yeah, and so on some of these, I was telling Tony when we met, I think at the Globe Paracon, one thing with a Sony is you'll see a dip. You'll see a dip, but you'll hear a click. And when you take that click and you just amplify the click, not even 4%, whatever, it brings it out instantaneous. And it's amazing. And with the demonic case I was talking about in 1999, I couldn't even understand what the entity was saying until we had to slow it down. It was speaking so fast. Yeah. You could hear there was this loud screeching voice and slowed it down to get the voice out. But that we're seeing these clicks. And anytime there's a little click, a little blip on the screen, I know that that's going to be a voice there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were discussing that too. And I was saying, Cherie had her old cell phone, used to make these
static
hum noise, and every time following it was an EVP. But you're right about the speed at which the voice comes in too. And Ron and I have discussed this over and over, because we find the same thing with DRV, that the voices will come in so fast, much faster than any human could actually produce it and say it, that the mind can't even pick it up, because we're not used to that speed of pattern. And that's why he was talking about using other devices to be able to slow down the speed at which we're hearing it, because he's clearly identified message after message that you couldn't even hear playing at regular speed. But when it was slowed to half time, clear as a bell, the words were audible, hearable, and understandable. And it's incredible.
I mean, it's crazy. He sounds drunk. You hear him, like this. But then meanwhile, the voice is normal speed because he slowed it down. It's normal speed and very clear.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
There were a couple of factors involved. Early EVP research, Konstantin Radova used to say that the vocals came in at a speed that the human vocal tract couldn't replicate. For one, when everybody plays back stuff on review, a lot of times they slow it down so you can hear the words that are being spoken. So what happened one time, we were at an event, I was running direct radio voice, and I heard one syllable of on. It turned out it was Ron. It was my name. There was a whole other bunch of stuff there with full female vocal tonality, naming my mother, my grandmother, that I didn't hear at all. When I slowed it down to like half speed, it was pronounced and emphasized the way I am talking now. So if there's no way a human could speak that fast with that enunciation. If it's slowed down, it was normal speed. So
it would sound drunk.
That's what I told Tony. I think what we need to look at doing is trying to slow down, especially ITC stuff, in the moment so that we can have dialogue and not find it in review.
Hold on 1 second, Ron. Let me just interrupt you. I'm showing 2 minutes to 7, which means if they haven't already, the UNX Network is going to switch to their next program. We are going to continue on. So if you want to switch over to their next program, feel free. If you'd like to continue to follow this program, which I highly suggest you do, switch over to YouTube, Facebook, or any other channels where this show continues.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, Ron. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. So, I mean, that's basically the crux of it. So based on early EVP research and then based on this one experience, not a couple months back, when I could not believe how emphasized and pronounced this recording was, and I didn't hear it because in full speed, it was like it didn't happen. So I think there's something to that. We've talked about how we think the voices may be coming in using light. So that's an interesting aspect of when you get clarity and tonality on EVPs, they don't always come in that user-friendly.
Right.
So we're going to need your help on that, because the whole PAPS mission is to capture audio and video evidence at a single moment to prove the existence of life. And what we're getting now on our cameras a lot is a cameramen are standing there. They're saying, I can see myself in the camera when they're pointing at either a mirror or a glass. So
the spirits are saying that, not the cameraman. Yeah, the spirit who hears.
Okay, right. I was gonna, thank you, Jamie.
Yeah. I was
the cameraman should see himself if he's pointing at a mirror.
I hope you see yourself.
Maybe you need new cameraman.
I think
that's fascinating, though. And you know what? What also we've noticed over the years is that entities, spirits, whatever you want to call them, seem to be getting used to interacting. Whereas, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, they probably didn't have much interaction because no one talked about it. Now you've got investigators out there all over the world doing this, and they seem to be, depending on who the investigators are, opening up a little more, trusting a little more, and interacting much more.
Yeah, we call it the paranormal playbook.
Right.
In the early 1900s, a lot of the very esteemed and vetted mediums, especially over in Europe, were getting messages about the advent of the electronic communication age when we would be doing what we're doing now. So they knew it was coming, or they were part of facilitating its arrival. But that's the goal. I'd be happy to help. You guys are obviously incredibly talented at what you do. You're doing admirable work. If there's anything that I can do that would be helpful, you know where to find me. Absolutely. Please ask. Yeah, and Tony and I have been collaborating on this. Tony's one of the most talented people in ITC I've worked with. There's a lot of them. a lot of talented people who do this stuff. But that was a theory that I brought to him. I said, I can't believe I missed this vocal. I think we need to slow them down in real time. And then that's when we went on a quest to find out how to do it. And so far, I have been reviewing files recorded since then, and I'm able to discern more. And it may never be 100%, but if we can move that pendulum more back into the moment and less into review, which is the very purpose of ITC, that was the difference between that and EVP, was to have dialogue versus review later.
Right. And Ron is who I learned the direct radio voice method that I was showing at the Globe Paracon. Without him, I would not have known about it, but we went out and did a 4-mansion tour in 4 nights, which was fantastic but exhausting. But every location we took his direct radio voice to, he just got the most phenomenal, and not like EVP. Now, you guys had some fantastic, you had sentences, but normally when I get EVPs, it was a couple of words at best, and he was getting conversation. And and I said, okay, I have to know what this is. I have to know how it functions. He was gracious enough to show me, teach me. And now I don't think I've touched a spirit box since, because it's incredible. And him talking about wanting to slow it down is to help facilitate that real-time communication, because a lot of times it comes in so fast, your brain can't process it that fast. But if it can be slowed down, but keep the real-time conversation going, that creates conversation.
Katie Hulte is brilliant, and yes, you being on it is a huge plus.
Yes. Tony, I love how passionate you are about direct radio voice. I really do, but you can't discount your e-box in Christ Your Mansion, because what your box freaking did, it named every single person in the room. How many of us? 5 of us?
Right.
I think that was crazy.
Yeah. So that was
the Evox. Thank you, and I appreciate that very much. The Evox does work, no doubt about it. Yeah, but I can't have an 8-minute conversation like I've had on DRD. I know. Literally,
it's an open channel
conversation. Right.
It's an open channel, but your ability to connect and produce spirit communication was why I knew this would be in good hands with you. Just to give you guys an example, I mean, Tony's extremely talented. He knows I have the utmost respect for him and his work. We did Sterling Mine in New Jersey. We were in a zinc mine, well below the surface of the earth. This is where radios and cell phones go to die. People use ghost boxes and spirit boxes. They can't get anything. We had someone doing an experiment trying to broadcast from transmitters from a spirit box at the door of the mine down the corridor. Nothing. We were under the surface. I can show you pictures. I was set up with a power generator under the ground, and we got vocal responses in real time where there's no signal. There's no carrier wave coming in. So
that's crazy.
My theory is I think they're using the wave function of light, which has the ability to work like a repeater. And then when that wave function interacts with something, it collapses and becomes particle. I think that's where you have sound, and that's where it's coming through the device. This is theoretical. I don't know, but I do know that was a big Earth Faraday cage we were in.
Yeah, I mean, we were deep inside that mine. It was
too far for radio waves. I
like the theory. I mean, that's plausible.
Yeah. Well, the other possibility. Sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No.
I was going to say the other possibility, light particle. Yeah, it very well could be, but the Boston particle is another option, because subatomic particle. Does it have the ability to carry audio wave or data? Yeah, I believe it does. Now, science doesn't know a lot about it. That's why they call it the God particle.
That's right.
That's a possibility in my book as well.
Yeah, it permeates everything without boundaries, and that's part of what they're trying to do.
It's a combination of both.
It could be a combination of both. Yeah, for sure. But we're going with what we can figure out to try to see if we can make it real time. So so to get back to you guys do incredible stuff, and if I could be of help, I'd be happy.
You got any more? Because I want to watch more.
I'll send you some stuff. I'll send you some stuff after.
Okay. Sweet. Cool. All right. We have another clip from them, and this one is titled Long Conversation with Spirit.
This is
talking about long conversations. I'm sorry. I'm so rude. Stop that.
No. This is the Peacock House. You want to talk about Jamie? You want me?
No, go ahead.
This house used to be a caretaker, elder type home or some sort. But anyways, what's really strange about it is the granddaughter in this house believes that she's lived another life. She can tell you who she was in World War II, what her name was, what happened to her, and she knew nothing about it. In fact, they've asked us if we ever want to go back and interview the granddaughter, they'll be willing to do that. But the strange thing about it is, as soon as we're standing there, we hear these voices right upstairs. We're hearing them with our own ears and like, wow, anybody hearing this stuff? But what happens is one of the lady investigators, I think it might have been Laura and Angela, they were over talking to the people in the kitchen. While they're doing that, we're just kind of doing a scan of the house. And we run into really some strange stuff. And you'll hear it on the EVPs as we're walking around. And we hear with our own ears too.
Okay.
All right. Here.
How old is the little girl, if anyone asks?
Jamie, at that time, what was she, 7?
I think about 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had
about 12 right now. Yeah.
She had conscious memories.
Right.
Is incredible.
Wow.
That's cool. Here it is. Here's that clip.
I just want to make sure that. Oh, was that a?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Was that now?
No. It sounded like a gentleman though.
So yeah, it's a guy.
Yep.
Right here's a guy. Let me say something, sir. It almost feels like they're following and talking in my mic. I just want to make sure that.
Oh, was that a?
Yes.
Yeah, I heard that.
Was that now?
No. It sounded like a gentleman though.
So yeah, it's a guy.
Yep.
Right here's a guy. Let me say something, sir. Who is this? Yes. Say something, sir. Who is this? Yes.
Wow.
No idea. Yeah.
Not even whisper,
was
you know,
amazing.
not even that whisper. It was just like a regular vocal tone, not even a whisper at all.
Right.
So when I said look before to Drew, the cameraman, my K2 was just pegged at red at that moment.
That's someone telling their story straight up.
Oh yeah.
Told their
Agreed.
story straight up. That is crazy. You guys have great connection.
Yeah, that's
Well, the
fantastic.
clarity,
I
the
just hope that-
clarity of it, and the tonality in the voice. I mean, you can hear the tonality. It's not just a whisper. You can hear the emotional state
Yeah.
when you heard, feel your own death, and
Oh my
he
God.
said, I hate it when she said that to me, or
Oh my God,
whatever that
that's
exact wording was. But in that tonality, you can hear his frustration with what he's expressing. That's a great EVP. Just
Very
phenomenal.
It's great and it's sad at the same time.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder if there's anything. Was there anything environmentally as far as like a background white noise, something that wasn't obtrusive to your process? Because it feels like they're availing themselves of some vibratory energy that's possibly ambient to some degree that maybe isn't detectable or obtrusive, because it's acquiring tonality.
From someone.
Which is, when we receive it, is a vibratory process, right? Receiving of sound. Sound is an air disturbance or through water or metal, and you're receiving that on a device. So something is giving it more tonality than the whisper, and that's fascinating
Was
because
that
that
in-
was really clear.
Was that in
Right.
a residential home as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a residential home. In fact, we had to throw a lot of the evidence out because he had peacocks all around this place that were going off. And every time we hear a peacock, said, okay, that's thrown away, that's thrown away, that's thrown away. But we got other clips, the same home. When we first walked in, they're telling us, I don't know if you guys get this, but we're always told to, F you, get out.
Yeah.
That's our
Yeah.
commonality.
All
That's
the time.
That's the paranormal playbook we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially they're saying F you to Tony.
Yeah,
most of the
they do
time.
say it a lot. That or get out or help.
Amazing.
Those are the three that we hear almost every place we
I
go.
know.
Help, get out,
And
And
yeah,
I don't
the
think
last
that's
one.
radio.
no, it's not when it's F you, Tony. We know that's not right.
That house has a lot of energy, though.
Yeah.
It's obvious. They're getting the energy from somewhere.
Right.
Well, I was
So, and
curious
those
about what
voices
Ron
are
said
strong.
too, about if there was an external source, because the only time
Yeah.
we got consistent tonality like that is when we were in the Diplomat Hotel. It was raining outside, and the running water was actually running
Right.
down the walls
Audio
and then
support.
dripping into these little streams that would then run it outside. And we got voices that not only on the recorder are so vocally in tune that you can hear emotional state, you can hear everything. And it was so powerful that water created such an additional energy source that we began to hear them with our own ears. We could hear them.
That evidence you produced from that location was phenomenal. Would be an understatement. And you have the conductor of water. You have the vibratory influence in the atmosphere that the continuing falling of the rain is causing. That's why I was wondering in that environment where they were if there was something, because that's another aspect of. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's another aspect of EVP. When you think about it, when we capture EVP, some of them are whispery, some of them have tonality. There's variations there in between, right? There has to be some differentiating factor, whether it's on their side, on ours, or in the coming between realms. There has to be something that is causing some to have tonality and some to not. I don't think it's by design. I don't think they're going, all right, we're going to whisper this one.
That's what I'm trying to say. I think maybe I should rephrase it. It's something with the house or maybe the land or something is giving them the enough energy to come through that clear. Right. And you guys are probably part of that too as well.
And it doesn't have to be something that we can detect. It could be something like on an infrasound level. It could be something that is still within the atmosphere, which is still affecting the vibratory rate of the environment, but even if it's not detectable by us, because that had really good tone. Yes, that piece of evidence is class A by definition.
We have gone to a lot of places where power lines are right over the house, right? So we have to throw a lot of stuff away. No EMF detectors, anything like that. So sometimes our EVPs do get ramped up. They're a little bit easier to hear and understand. We've also noticed that those ionizer air purifiers are in a lot of the homes that we go to. I mean, they're being a couple, one or two bedrooms. Like, God, they have one too. It's very fascinating. So I think there's something to do with those as well.
Yes,
it could. Absolutely.
I don't know if it's going to make the voices coming through that more clear or with that vocal tone, but it might act as a food source.
I would say yes, because it's true. And Keith Clark said this, and I agree with the voices are everywhere. If you really stay silent and listen, and you can hear them everywhere. So I would say, that may have something to do with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you, Lourdes. The voices and spirits are all around us all the time. It's just
everywhere.
They can be talking to us. I mean, it's just what energy source is around for that to be bleeding through.
You sure it wasn't all those peacocks? Because we had to throw a lot away.
Yeah, could have been.
The other thing is there's so many variables that we don't know, we don't understand, and we don't even know what the combinations that need to be acquired to produce with vocal tone like that. So it could be anything. Could it be the atomizer? Could it be the air freshener? Sure, it could. We don't know. We don't know. That's the question.
More research.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, that is an avenue of EVP research that I'm fascinated by, and I haven't probably delved into enough even ourselves because we got sidetracked into this whole direct radio thing. But that's fascinating to me though too, is because there are a wide variety of EVPs in quality and tonality. Some having none, very whispery, breathy. And you guys got a lot of stuff that has tonality to it.
Yeah, I'm so impressed. Because EVP, I love EVPs. That's my special. That's why I love direct radio voice, because it's so pure to the closest thing to EVP. And the things that you guys got, amazing.
That's what made me think of it also, because direct radio voice was born out of using white noise and audio support for EVP to embolden the possibility or the capturing process. So when you have straight up EVPs like you guys are having with the quality you guys are catching them at, that's phenomenal. And I think it would be foolhardy to say that there isn't some factor, even if we don't know it, that would differentiate between the types and tonalities of these EVP captures. Something has to be attributing to the characteristics, at least when it's within our realm, within the laws of physics that we know, when it's recorded and captured, something has to be making it different. But what you guys have served up, and I'm glad because Tony in the beginning of the show said you guys had some really great stuff. If people watching don't believe that by now, they weren't watching.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I agree. So tell the audience if they want to see other stuff you've captured, throw yourself out some shameless plugs. Where can they see it? Where can they go? Where can they learn more about you?
You haven't showed the best one yet, Tony.
I haven't.
No.
Did you show the cleansing? That is amazing. That EVP and the spirits talking to the ministers. He's walking through the house.
Listen, when Rod and Jamie say something amazing, I'm listening.
And he said it's the best one. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's totally amazing. Yeah.
I don't see anymore. This is what was here.
What was that called? This house is clean, Rod. That clip.
The cleansing where the ministers. It was the booze. There was a bunch of drunk spirits in there, and they're talking to the ministers. Walk through the house, and then when he gets all done, he comes out of the garage, and we hear this voice. It sounds totally angelic. This house is clean. I've never heard a voice.
It's a vocal tone, even better than the previous one.
Nobody heard it.
It's not here.
It didn't come through. Oh no.
1, 2. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right, and these two are regular and high quality. Have you seen my brother? Something jumps off.
Oh no, the high quality got stuck in there. I bet by accident. Then it probably got overtaken on the other one. Oh no.
Oh, that's a shame. I would have loved to have heard it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have to come
Another
back.
Yeah, you
time.
guys
Yup.
definitely will have to come back.
Yeah.
Because I know you have
I am so
tons
sorry.
of great clips. I know
Oh, I
you
would
guys.
love to hear that. That's it.
But that's
like
okay,
I was
'cause guess
saying, though,
what? Guess what? Rod just last Friday on their Facebook page just posted a montage of
Oh,
Nice.
cleansing EVPs and stuff like that.
It's on there. It's on that
And
one.
that
I think,
is
isn't
on
it?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, with the ministers and stuff like that.
It's called Friday
That clip is
Clips.
on
We
there.
do Friday Clips on Facebook, and that was the fight or flight clip, and it has all the ministry stuff that we do, and the spirits how they're talking back during the ministry and stuff.
Oh,
Nice.
we'll check it
All
out.
right, so if you have a Facebook page, let the audience know where they can go see these clips. Facebook, you said. What's the name of it? I'm sure it's
Here,
but
let me help you out. It's Phoenix Arizona Paranormal Society. But also, if you go onto YouTube, we have our playlist on there of all our cases. There's a lot of things. There's 83 videos on YouTube, but all our cases are on the playlist. And there's also another good thing for people just starting off. I mean, if they go onto YouTube and they type in Phoenix Arizona Paranormal Society Grateful at the end of it, they'll see our video clip where was it USA Today or somebody followed us around and they saw us how we go through and we talk about cases and we took them into a quick investigation in a museum just to throw something out there so they could do it with us. But it kind of shows the whole breakdown how we do things.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So what do you got planned for the rest of the year? Any I mean, I know home investigations show up when they show up because
Well, Jamie says last time when we were in Globe that we're going to.
oh yeah, there's a specific hotel, Jamie, that if you can get us back into, we're there. But
That's right.
what
I
other plans do you guys
I
have
can't say it
for,
publicly though.
Yeah,
I'm
of
not going to
course.
say it publicly though. But yes, if we can get back in there, I definitely will bring you guys along.
Very cool. Yeah, that's why we didn't mention it. That's why I stopped her.
I know. She's like,
I'm like, no. But any investigations of known places? I know you guys do majority of home investigations, which I think is fantastic. They're needed. Arizona, for some reason or another, has a huge amount of paranormal activity going on in places. I don't know how many we've done, but
yeah.
I'd say, I don't even want to guess, but 30, 40, 50, I don't know.
A lot.
But they seem to cycle. There's certain months that they seem to show up. And I don't know. I don't know what the
Well, they're like us. I think they show up more in the winter months. Actually, that's truly what we have found during the winter months when it's cooler out. For sure, we get a lot more activity than we do in the summertime.
I wonder if that has to do because a lot of people get depressed during the winter. I wonder if that has to.
Well, not here.
Yeah.
Oh,
winter
yeah,
here-
that's right. You guys are somewhere else.
By the way, when do you guys have somebody around you? Somebody just said something. It wasn't either one of you guys.
Us?
I heard that before
Yeah,
too.
there's a voice. It's talked twice
Was it
now.
male? Was it
Yes.
male?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I heard before too. And I'm looking to see who was speaking.
What? I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't hear the one.
he was just agreeing with Jamie on something, and I'm watching your faces, and nobody's talking. So that voice is in there. Go back and
That's
play it.
the
You'll hear it.
second time that I didn't hear that one, but I heard the one before.
Yeah.
Rewind the live show,
Tony,
Tony.
rewind.
Come on.
Somebody's got an attachment. I hope that ain't my guy.
I have a lot of technology, but I can't rewind the live show. We'll have to wait till we can go back and watch. I wish I could. How cool would that be?
So getting back to your question, Tony, you're also, we have the Facebook page, and the YouTube page is strictly just videos. So Facebook page, we just put some fun stuff on there every once in a while. And we also update tours information because we do tours as well sometimes at local spots in Arizona. So you can follow us on Facebook. So we do a lot of, tours. And like Rod said, it pays bills for insurance and stuff like that. That's another thing. If you're young and up and coming to do this, you need insurance.
Absolutely.
You've got to protect yourself every which way. So that's one thing.
That's an absolute must. And when we started doing both tours of the Phelps Dodge and home investigations, that was the first thing I said to Cherie is we need insurance. She goes, what do you need insurance for? I said, everything. You have no idea whose home you're going into. You have no idea what's going to happen. And you have now that's why people who get into the argument about, do you charge for home investigations? No. And second of all, the reason you wouldn't want to, even on top of all the regular moral reasons for not charging, is that if you ever got taken to court, you're going to lose your shirt because you can't prove what you were there for. You can't prove you did what you claimed you did because there are no variables that allow you that fall on your side to go, okay, yeah, I removed this, or you're hoping they're going to agree and say, yeah, we haven't felt it. We haven't seen it. We haven't experienced it. But that's a whole nother reason you don't charge on top of the even bigger ones that it's just wrong to do that. But
right.
Yeah, and let me tell you, even if the judge believes you, most likely he won't agree with you. So,
well, by law, there's nothing you have that stands the grounds of a legal court or lawyer or judge that would back you up. So you have to have insurance to make sure you're covering yourself and your people that are coming with you. So
Plus you got to have forms. You got to have an investigation form, a release of information form. You have to have a cleansing form, and you sign all these things before you walk into their door.
Correct.
And the one thing we don't do anymore is we can't do apartments because the first demonic case was in an apartment. And the last thing apartment management company wants to hear is they went out of their lease because of this. So that hurt us. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Homes only. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Typically homes that are owner occupied. Not
right.
Try not to do unless it's really bad.
Yeah, plus it's one big building. So they're just like rooms in this big building. So it just moves out of one into another one. It's almost like where the exterminators push into another room. And
that's what we did. That's exactly what happened to us. But you guys, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone in our audience who showed up tonight. I want to say thank you to the Onyx Network, to Race Hobbs, for making sure this show goes out every Monday night correctly. And I want to say thank you to Jamie and Rod for taking the time to submit some fantastic evidence, for coming on tonight, for explaining what you guys do, how you got into it, and some great paranormal captures. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
And by all means, if you make your way out here and want to visit the Shanley Hotel, you look us up, let us know.
I will.
Keith
will be out there.
The Truth About Beer and Paranormal set up a trip to come out here, and we booked the weekend with the Shanley with him coming up over the summer.
Yeah, they know Keith and Lindsay and Joey.
Oh, yeah. I talked to him in Globe. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Keith he said he wanted to come out and do the Shanley. He gave me some time frame to work around. Kelly, who was just watching tonight live, we worked it out with her, and we got a whole weekend. So we're literally spending the whole weekend with him up there at the Shanley coming up in the summer.
So please don't hesitate and come back on the show too. Both.
Yeah. Well, I hope that stands for us to come out to see the Shanley. Did I say Shanley? The Shanley as well, because that's definitely a location we're going to want to experience.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And the Stanley, but Shanley, I'd rather go to the Shanley before Stanley.
We tried to get that on the 4-mansion tour when we did it. When we did the 4-mansion tour, we tried to get things that were in close proximity to do 4 nights in a row, so Tony and Cherie could get the big East Coast experience. That was just it's such a popular location. It was really hard. We couldn't get it in that time frame to book it. But that was on our list.
When we do the 10-mansion tour, we make sure we'll put it
10
in.
10 mansions.
Well, listen, me and my girlfriend Laura, one time we did 9 nights in a row, 9 haunted
Wow, I
locations.
was just kidding.
We go on haunted vacation. So one time we did a whole West Coast.
Oh, well,
We
that's
went to a
nice.
different haunted location each night for 9 nights.
Oh my! All right, guys, we got to beat that now. It's the 10-night haunted.
I can name that.
No. That
Haunted
4 killed me.
location
The
in
2 hours, 3 hours. Of
Yeah,
sleep a
the
night.
4 killed us. Seriously, it did.
Yeah, we were
That'll be on the
slap
next show.
tired. Right, Tony?
we had fun. Though.
We were slap happy tired. Anthony Seminelli, who was watching, was with us, and we were literally, just to give you an idea, on the 3rd night before the last investigation, we were staying at an Airbnb that was located in a condo complex, and we went to the wrong building and almost called the person to complain because the key didn't work. And then Tony goes, "This isn't our building. We're back there."
We were like, oh yeah.
We weren't even close. We were.
I know.
We were in the back.
We were in a whole different area. We always just like the closest building is the one.
Fun times.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a
All
great
right,
time.
so here's my opportunity to be Chris, but you guys are welcome back anytime. I know you have. That was just the tip of the iceberg of your evidence, but I know you guys just do great work. So here's my closing line to be Chris.
All right.
But the PAPS team tonight, we were honored with Jamie and Rod. They gave examples of what to do, what not to do, how to do it, things you should stay away from to not get in trouble. So anybody new who was watching the show, who's new to investigation, there were some great lessons here. And if you want to know how to capture great evidence, this was a perfect example of people to learn from. So on that note, I am going to say, everyone have a great evening and stay haunted.
Haunted.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?